This is I Am Change podcast. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. There is zero success without change. Be the change you want to see. Believe, focus, achieve.
Recently, on the 11th of October 2019, the world marked the International Day of the Girlchild with the theme Girlforce, Unscripted and Unstoppable. On today's edition of I Am Change podcast, our discussion is centered on the right of the girl child to education in northern Nigeria. Our guest today is Hajia Rukkaya Ayuba Adamu, the CEO of Kallabi magazine, and I'm Victoria Oni, welcoming you to I Am Change podcast. Welcome to I Am Change podcast platform, Hajia Rukkaya Ayuba Adamu.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get to meet you.
My name is Rukkaya Ayuba Adamu. I hailed from Kano State. I studied, I had my BA from Bayero University, Kano, in Hausa language. I'm now a publisher of Hausa magazine, Kallabi. This is my third year.
Wow, interesting.
In the industry.
Wow.
I have my background from the work I had as a reporter with Media Trust Nigeria Limited, where I had the experience of meeting or journaling within northern states.
Yeah, that's interesting. Last week was the International Day of the Girl Child with the theme Unstoppable and Unscripted. What do you think about this when it comes to the girl child at the grassroots level, that's the rural communities?
Yeah, that is an observation of what is going on now in our society. I think precisely.
Being carried along?
Yeah. A lot of the girl child we are now seeing, especially in the area where I'm more conversant with, the northern Nigeria, where we had the history that a girl child has a lot of restrictions, and schooling and other public activities. With those restrictions, there are a lot of challenges she is facing, educationally wise and socially, which now we can as well incorporate economical degradation in the society she is observing. So a girl child from the northern Nigeria had already seen a lot of lessons, a lot of mistakes, a lot of traumatic conditions that would now warrant her to unveil from those cover. It's like she's locked in a door. So now for her to now realize that she has a lot to do in the society, she has a lot to contribute to the upliftment of the future of her community. It's true.
Okay.
And they are a lot of the girls are now upcoming in trying their best to fight whatever is dominating or preventing or creating any havoc.
Talking about the extremist group in the north, what do you think can be done to curb it? And then do you think there should be like a stringent rules and regulations from the government so that this will serve like as a deterrent to those that really want to come up with something similar to what we've been seeing on ground?
Yeah, the groups that are there claim to be Islamic groups, that the Islamic religion is against women going to school or against Western or modernity. It's not true. In Islam, women are encouraged to study. the command that everyone should seek for knowledge is not restricted to only the male gender.
Sure.
The females are also encouraged. There was never a time in the Islamic history where women were left out in participation of any developmental participation. They are all carried along, and they are doing well. We had a lot of them in the history, and we even in the northern Nigeria, we have people like Nana Asma Bintu Fodio, whom was daughter of the revolutionary, the famous Usman Dan Fodio, whom we knew to fight and ensure and even wage the jihad war in the northern states or in Nigeria to conquer other areas where the religion is not there. He took the religion there, and there were a lot of things. So in the history, he had a daughter, Nana Asma Bintu Fodio, whom was part of it, and what she did was really an amazing activity. It was an activity that covered the northern states, especially the northwest, where the women were carried along. They even have a group which went round the northern states into the remote areas to educate women. So when the idea of not allowing women to go to school came up, we can now understand where it comes from. It's really a selfish idea. It is an idea of some elites whom really took it upon themselves to inculcate a culture that has not been there to satisfy their selfish desire. It is not really inclined to religion. Mm-hmm. So the true teaching of Islam does not really prevent women from going to school. Mm-hmm. But the restrictions we are having are basically targeting protection, provision of protection to the women. Mm-hmm. It's protecting the girl child, and it's not restricting her when even she is asked to get married early. The encouragement comes for the fact that she is vulnerable, and if there are ways that the elders in the community and can protect her, these are all avenues to explore. But even when she is married young, she is expected to get married to an educated man, a responsible man whom would now lift her up, continue to support her, continue to nurture her, continue to help her actualize the dream. The dream, what is the dream? To get educated, to get liberated, which only comes from education.
Sure. Wow. So that is interesting. So, then statistics shows that 50% of women are relegated to the household. So just like you've explained, this is just out of it. Are the stringent measures you think the government should take against this
I think the
group?
Government needs to work with
religious leaders?
Yes, the religious leaders, selected religious leaders. Okay. That is one.
Selected.
Number two, women should be carried along. Okay. There is no invitation that can come from the government of women to participate in their policy making and will not be honored. Women should not be seen in the north. Women should not be seen as only remaining in the house to hold household chores. They are supposed to be participating in the societal policy making. Yes. Sure. The religion has no history of that. Even during the history of the Prophet ﷺ, a lot of women were carried along. A lot of women then were even going to the battlefields. They were carried along. There were the nurses there. In fact, nothing can be done without women around. So women should be there. So the religious leaders should be selected. Selective religious leaders should be accompanying the policy making, considering a lot of things. That, for instance, the women should be invited, the women should be incorporated, the women should be part and parcel of any decision making affecting the society.
Wow, that is interesting. Publisher of Kallabi magazine, how will the women at the grassroots level get access to your magazine? and how does this impact on their lives?
One of the mission of Kallabi magazine is to get the women to have good role models. We have criteria of selecting the models we are interviewing. We showcase their projects as well as present their profile. In presenting their profile, we target and concentrate on the upbringing, the biography. So the biography now presents the challenges that she went through, the normal way we see it happening in the North. But how is a woman, a successful woman in quote, is able to cross those hurdles? How was she able, and which support, how has she been supported? The support she has, the hurdles she crossed, a lot of things that the women in the North thought would not warrant them to pursue the education and excel. How was she able to go through all those things? And is she really human? We are trying, part of the mission is to demystify the women, the successful women.
Sure.
As we are celebrating a minister, we are celebrating a governor's wife, we are celebrating, a commissioner, a lot of these top class women. The grassroots are always seeing them as mysteries. As in, so this woman, does she really eat what I am eating? As in, if I'm eating tuwo amiyan kuka, so she eats tuwo amiyan kuka. As in, we have a question that we ask them, what is your favorite? And when she said zogala and kwadan zogala and guli guli, that is a salad, a local salad that is identified with the North, a local salad of this moringa. Yes, a local salad with bean cake powder. So they come to so they eat this. So they eat this. So a lot of the questions that were supposed to be there, even though some we skip, because I happen to be presenting these profiles in English and Hausa language. So the ones we write in English. We ask about the outfit. For instance, the outfit, but basically coming down to the grassroots, that is what they appreciate. That's why she ties an ankara. It's the ordinary ankara she ties. I remember interviewing a medical doctor whom is a northern icon. We know her to be Dr. Halima Adamu, and she said, and she when she mentioned the type of wrapper she likes tying, it was like, so it's not an exclusive. Yes, so it's like, let's see them as ordinary people with ordinary life, but able to cross the hurdles, able to fight the challenges, and we're able to succeed. And these women, in return, we seek their allegiance to help the grassroots. Yes, to help reach down to them at the where they need them. They have a lot of avenues of penetrating into the grassroots, but specifically, every community has what it yearns for. So as we move closer to the grassroots,
pecuniary things,
the women at the top use us to now see to where they should come to, to render any service or any help to the grassroots woman. Some people
need education.
Yes, some may need education. Some
Money,
empowerment.
incentives,
Yes. Some with incentives, some even without incentives. What they need is consistency, reach out and to meet
mentorship,
them.
I think.
Mentorship. So a lot of them, that is how we identify where we are touching their lives. And that is where the relevance of the grassroots, of this woman at the top level, is to their relevance to the grassroots. And what we try to do is, part of the mission is to create a bridge basically between the two, so that this can reach Yeah, the top
The haves and
women
the have nots.
Of course, of course.
Okay.
Let's see them as all part of us.
Yeah.
As in, every time we have a woman in any position, her concern is how to help those at the grassroots.
Sure.
And how to reach and uplift the lives of these women. So they are privileged. As you are privileged, how do you now help to uplift the lives of these women? They are not yearning for food, for money, just as how some of the politicians penetrate to use them. They are not looking for rappers. They are women nurturing kids, responsible women who are concerned about their well-being, the well-being of their families.
Sure.
There are a lot of women who are widows who have no support. So they need to be empowered, and our women are not lazy. You find them having a lot of businesses but with no support. So if this woman at the top level can come down to that level and assist where it is needed, that would be more appreciated. Yeah,
that's interesting. So as CEO, how have you been able to balance family life with
in every step in my life? I have a support, the support that I need. My parents are very supportive. Even when I got married, they never left me. I consult for advices. I have mentors. My husband is there to help and support where needed. A lot of times when I feel I cannot do it, when I feel it's too much on me, he doesn't see it that way. He always tries to push me and lift me up with his resources and the support I need. A lot of times living where we are far away from parents, you cannot drop your kids anywhere. At home, you can decide to drop them where the parents are, or the parents can. A lot of times I have to invite them to stay with me, invite my sisters have been there with me, family members, my friends, and the resources and support I get equally comes from all of these groups. So it's something that really shows that a woman can do it. A woman can cross any hurdle with the support of the society at large.
Talking about support system. Now, from what you said, you have a support system. What advice do you have for men? How they should support their women? Or for parents, how they should support their girl child? Especially those that want to venture into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, women are in need of a lot of supports. A lot of hands have to come into her life for her to get stable. She's a woman is a very strong human being when it comes to her family. But when she goes out, she is in need of support. Why? Because she is vulnerable to a lot of things that would not really go well on her. So our men should stop seeing women as a liability. To be a liability is something that is tagged on our women, especially women in the north. So if the support is given, she can be fit enough to face any challenge. The problems we are having today of being left with children as a widow without any man willing to help her with these kids is enough to really wake up a lot of women. So if the men feel it is really a liability on them, the only way to solve the problem is to now help these women realize their dreams, to be good and be supportive. They get this woman prepared. The lot of remarried women in the north as widows were compelled again, which is in quotes, against the religion of Islam. If a woman is even married at first, the second marriage should be a choice. She is compelled into this marriage. Why? Because she needs to be fed. Deliberately, the family will reject her, will not be providing anything for her. And the fact that she has been denied the empowerment she needed to help herself, she has to go for the second marriage. Unfortunately, without any option, she would go into a house where already there are problems of not supporting her also to carry on even when she thinks it's time for her to start something. That is one. Number two, I was able to assist a researcher who came from the US. Back in, I think, about 10, 11 years ago, she was in Nigeria, researching on how HIV gets worse in the north and within the cluster of Kano City. When I assisted her, one thing that really terrified me was she came to now find out that a lot of girls that either widowed or divorced got married into a home where there are already 3 wives with a lot of children, of course. Then she was positive. No one care. All they care about is she is young and she should be remarried again. No one cared to know. So as she goes into that house, innocently, she infects the whole family. So there were a lot of things like that. How many of our men are ready to listen to this girl that is a victim of either divorce or widowed? Perhaps she had not been living in this community, so they have not seen how she had been living, what really transpired with the husband. So a lot of things now goes back to her, that you have to get married again.
That's all they care for.
Yes.
Okay. So talking about women that are vulnerable, that brings us to the trending issue of sex for marks in our universities. Like the BBC documentary, it's centered on, I think, Lagos State and Ghana University. So now what do you think is happening in the northern universities? Because we don't have a clue of what is actually happening in the northern universities, because so many people don't want to voice out because of the culture and tradition.
Yeah, there are times when you protect your culture and tradition to lift the spirit of an area. But there are times when you don't talk about it, you are not solving the problem. It is a trending issue which is not really affecting the Western and the Eastern universities, but also the North. A lot of things had been happening and also continue to happen in the North, and most of the times the blame goes back to the woman. Part of the reports I had were times when the girls themselves offer to the lecturers. What I think we are missing is we are far away in the North. We have Islam and Christianity as a religion, the major religions, and all of these two have good moral values. So if the Muslims and the Christians are far away from their teachings, and they are nurturing now youths who are devoid of any good moral upbringing, the tendency is that the youths are not seeing anything wrong with that. But what I'm seeing is, if we all come back to the cultural values, the religious values, try to protect the youths, try to get good mentors.
Okay, so the lecturers are supposed to be our mentors?
Yes, but it doesn't start from the university. It starts from the home. Each home. How can a girl be asked to go and look for admission by herself? That is one.
In the North.
Why should you go alone to look for admission in the school? If really we are claiming that we are protecting this woman, we are claiming that it is protection, actual protection, not to let the woman out. So now in a situation where the women are going out to study, why should men now be...
But apart from looking for admission,
when she's in school, when she's in the school, the way she carries herself, now it comes down to her. The way you present yourself makes you vulnerable for anything. So the cultural values are left. You go to school anyhow you want, you dress anyhow. I remember when I was in the university, there are a lot of things that I thought I could do, but whenever I'm going to school, my father will stand, watch me and take me back home to change until when I appear decent. How many parents, how many brothers, how many uncles do that to the girl child they are bringing?
So you feel the dress
already, the responsibility is not
as you dress, so you address this, eh?
Of course, you are vulnerable.
Okay.
The way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you relate.
But I think
So
when a
there are
male lecturer wants to come after you, even if you are wearing your hijab,
a lot of
wouldn't
women were victims of that.
sure.
Yeah.
So even if you are well dressed, for a male
It's
lecturer,
not. It doesn't
a
stop.
randy
No, it
male
doesn't
lecturer.
stop. It doesn't stop at dressing.
Okay.
It doesn't stop there. When you dress, how do you carry yourself? How do you talk? When do you talk? And how is it necessary for you to meet one-on-one? All these things are discouraged in the culture and religion of the two religions. How are you supposed to carry yourself? Mothers, what are you telling your girl child? Are you telling her that she is that beautiful that if she goes to the university, she can display her beauty? She goes on the street and she wears all the heavy makeup. What are you telling your girls? To understand that the liberation is not about letting her do what she wants. It's about being with her. So everyone should wake up and adjust the moral values.
It's clarion call for everyone, parents, lecturers,
Yes.
So let's digress a little. There is a conference coming up in Kaduna. Drug abuse has become a very prevalent issue in the north. What's your take on this? What do you think are the causes? What measures do you think the government or the stakeholders can take to curb these menace?
Actually, this drug abuse thing is almost everywhere, but specifically in the north. And specifically, I'll talk about it in relation to how women are buying the idea of getting into drugs. We now talk about the mental health. It is as a result of a lot of societal changes that we are having in the north. The women are coming out. The women, even when not out, are socializing more, and the effect of social media. So a lot of the times when you have these women in the cycle, they claim to be frustrated. Frustrated by who? The men. By the society.
Sure.
If a woman needs support, just coming back to the support system, and you are not giving her the support she needs, not monetarily, not but moral, yes. Someone to talk to when she is
moral,
down, psychologically she feels not fit. In a number of times when you see the social media displaying beauty, those are minor things that we take for granted. They are issues that affect women. Sure. Our men are not ready to give that support. They are not seeing it as vital. So I think it comes down to, let's start to get men education on family management.
Okay.
That we find out to be in this cycle had been in it for years. Okay. But because there is no one close to report, who is closer to the woman than the man? He should know that she had started taking something. By the time the men discover, it had already escalated to a level where the addiction is
something else.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to pay attention to women and men taking the responsibility of coming close to their
families.
Yes.
I think.
And these women that are already found in the cycle, what do we do to help them move out of it? Mm-hmm. The addiction that we're talking about can be addressed, but it depends on how ready the society is to support and provide all the necessary things that they need to get out of it. There are a lot of women whom have children that are already grown up, and they are in it. How ready are these children willing to help their mothers out of it? Is rejection an option? For the men, how ready are you to help her go through the therapy? And how ready are you to even accept that she's in it? How willing are you to open your eyes and check under your beds? How many bottles are found? So let's have everyone wake up. Let's husbands help their spouses.
Okay.
Yeah. Let children help their mothers. Let friends. Let's not see pointing accusing finger on our friends.
So in general, let's not lose our humanity.
Yes.
Everyone is important.
Let's
we look out for each other.
Of course. Yeah. So let's have joint hands. Friends, families, and the community at large.
Okay.
In the churches, let's have the pastors talk to the men, a lot of things like that. So family responsibility,
Okay.
yes,
Wow.
is one option that will now help to curb this. If you find one of your family member in it, how are you willing to present that, and how willing are you to accept the help and then go through the therapy and get them out?
Okay. Now
Yes.
that's interesting. Thank you so much for your time, Rukkaya, Ayuba.
Yes.
And thank you, listeners, for staying with us on I Am Change podcast. I'm Victoria Oni, saying goodbye for now.